Hello and welcome to episode 128 of Show and Tell with Tunes. And we are joined again by the wonderful, delightful Eric Landstrom. And this time he has brought one artist for us to do a wonderful show over. He has brought us Greenski Bluegrass. And all I can say is thank you, Eric.
You are welcome. Um, in the spirit of happiness, of relaxation, of excellent musicianship, of just dozens of amazing songs, you're welcome. I'm happy to share this with everybody because I really love these guys.
Yeah, I will admit straight away I had no idea who, what, or I got a clue by the name when you came across it. Oh, we're doing a thing called Green Sky Bluegrass. I was like, let me guess, they're probably going to be bluegrass. Yeah, they're going to have a country feel to them. But I had never heard of them or anything by them until listening to this playlist. And fuck it, I'm going to go out with it straight away. They are now in my saved artists on Spotify, and a lot of it has been downloaded onto the hard drive on my phone, so I don't even have to worry about not having the internet connection, so I can listen to it. That's how much I like this. So
Yeah,
again, thank you.
you're welcome. And I'll tell you my origin story. With these guys, it's just simply enough. Just Pandora. Honestly, just listening to Pandora in my office at work, and their cover, which is the first song that we'll play in our playlist. They're the cover of "Time and Breathe" from Dark Side of the Moon. And, bluegrass bands cover a lot of songs, and that song's been covered, or those songs have been covered, you know, hundreds and hundreds of times. So it's like, oh, there's another Pink Floyd cover, great. But then you really listen to it, and you're like, holy shit, this is amazing, and this band is fantastic, and they have this like edgy outlaw bluegrass sound, but then they're a jam band like Fish, and it's really great. And then you dive into their back catalog, and it's like, oh my gosh, these guys know how to write all sorts of songs. It's really interesting when you get into it. But yeah, the Pink Floyd stuff was really what drew me in, but that's not what's keeping me there now. That's for sure. There's just so much good stuff in there.
Yeah, so as she said, obviously we opened up the show with their cover of Time and Breathe. We followed that up with Grow Bananas, which again is just really fucking good. It's bluegrass country. Everything on this playlist is has a very very distinct bluegrass sound to it, but every song has a completely different vibe. And oh, it's hard for me to just sort of go by individual songs on this because normally when we do these sort of things, each band is slightly different. So I can, but you know, it's just so good.
Yeah, and especially songs like "Grow Bananas" and a couple of other ones, you can really, for me, I love Graham Parsons, and especially the Birds record with him on it, "Sweetheart of the Rodeo," and then his work with the Flying Burrito Brothers. I I love that sound and that style of music, and songs like "Grow Bananas" and a couple of others on this list really just like capture that energy, that southern rock energy. But it's not twangy, it's not like pop country, it's nothing like that. It's really just well crafted, bluegrass and country influenced music. And so yeah, dude, you hit it right over the head. It's like the reason a lot of people hear this and like it is because it's not that they haven't heard songs like this before. It's that you just don't realize it until you think, oh yeah, I can hear all their influences, but they do it so well and they have their such unique take on it. Yeah, but yeah, as a fan of the old, as the old 60s and 70s, country rock origin stuff, like particularly Graham Parsons, like I said, yeah, stuff like this really resonates with me.
Yeah, it's Skinner, it's all that sort of Merle Haggard, that sort of outlaw country, but also the rock side of it, and then still all with the essence of what country is, which bluegrass is pretty much where country started. It was either that or the country and western style stuff, the Stand By Your Mans and Tammy Wynette's, and they're just doing like all the best bits of everyone together, just in this style of bluegrass, and it's just like it's just good.
Yeah, that's all
It's
you
one
can
of
say.
those of it's really hard to sort of go much more than that with this. It's just fucking good. Um, so the next run of songs starts with the Reverend. Again, I will say when I see songs with Reverend and Jesus and things in the title, I sort of flinch a little bit because you know, being the massive atheist I am, and
Oh yeah.
thing of hating religion to the point of I find ghosts really funny. I took Will into the Roman Catholic cathedral that we have in Norwich because we got two. We've got a C of E one and a Roman Catholic one.
You gotta
Walked
have
in
one,
there,
and you gotta have a backup cathedral. Everybody's gotta
yeah.
have a backup cathedral.
So walked in there with Ghost on, Hail Satans and Beelzebubs and all that, and I'm like listening to it in my headphones, going, this is how much I laugh at your religion, because that's just me. To go a song, it's gonna be Jesus-y, it's gonna be Jesus-y. It's really not very Jesus-y.
No, the first line of the song is having a couple of beers with the Reverend. I mean, that kind of tells you all you need to know about. The it is a bluegrass band, and I don't think all their guys are from the South per se, but they're all from the Midwest, the Bible Belt, and from the southern U.S. And so you have to understand that, like, Baptist and evangelical influences are really, really strong, even in music that tries to deride it or tries to have a little bit of fun with it, like this. And so it doesn't really bother me as a fan of this music. I kind of I'm as big of an atheist as you are, Lacey, and just as open about that. But I can kind of learn to appreciate the context of those subject matters in songs like this, because I think without that, like, evangelical Baptist influence in the music itself, I don't think this music would be as unique and as special and as I don't, the word is genuine as it can be. So I think you have to understand those influences exist, and I just kind of learned to live with it. But these songs don't have that problem because they treat the subject matter, in a way that I think a lot of folks like you and I do.
Yeah, it's the same as when you get or listen to any sort of soul stuff from the 70s.
Hmm.
You know that its origins are the choirs, and singing groups and gospel stuff in church, which brings that style of song out. And I'm like, that's fine. It has its place, but don't come preachy. But you know, it's it is clearly obviously an influence on a lot of the origins of these types of artists, because obviously as I said, a lot of it starts in the communities, and especially in the States more than here. A lot of community is built around religion. If you're either from an ethnic minority, that's where your religion is, or if you are from, as you said, like the Bible Belt area of the States, where religion is everything. You I've watched the documentaries where you literally come out of one church, turn around, and there's another 10. It is so prevalent in everything they do and all the time. There's obviously gonna be that influence there. And yeah, there was no preaching. I liked it.
It's a good song. It really is.
You follow that up with Miss September, which was an early favorite. Going through the first playlet or the first playthrough, Miss September was the first one I went back to afterwards. I won't say it's my favorite as still now. Another one has taken the jump on that, but
Ooh, curious,
it
curious.
was the early favorite, and again, just a really fucking good song. The the vocal harmony with the banjo playing that's in it just meld so well together. It's just yes.
Yeah, these guys, it sounds a little bit of a reach, but maybe it's not. But you get some bands, and the one that comes to mind all the time with when it comes to like male vocal harmonies in like country rock music is the Eagles, right? And I think they have some
Mm.
of the best vocal harmonies. And I'm not saying these guys are as technically proficient or as good as those guys, but you can just hear that this is a band of guys who have been harmonizing and doing vocal work together for a long time, and so they know how to exercise their strengths. And it's interesting because this is a song from their latest album. I think they have a new album coming out in January, but this one, Miss September, is from their last new album. And you really hear that it's a little bit different, and it's a little bit, the tempo is a little bit different. I think there might be some throughout this whole album. There's electric guitar, and which they hadn't used as frequently before. And they always just kind of change their sound, and that's kind of why I like them a little bit. They're kind of progressive bluegrass in a way. It's like they're a bluegrass country band, but they're always changing their sound, and they track kind of like bands like Pink Floyd and Yes and Rush, and bands who not necessarily they sound like them, but bands whose sounds are always evolving over the course of time. They're never settling into a rut per se, and that's one of the things I really like about it. Their album one doesn't sound anything like album six.
Yeah, it's one of the best things of if you can see that of a band is that they have the ability to grow, and take on either different influences or, in this case, because obviously clearly, the likes of Floyd have been an influence on them because the fact they covered them on, I believe it's the fourth album, which is the Volume One All Access one, or if there's in the list on Spotify anyway. So obviously they've been there, but as you said, there's this sort of growth album to album of, well, we like this influence, let's try this. We like this bit, let's try this. That all the best bands have. I can only name maybe one or two bands that somehow can keep the exact same sound from album to album and still carry it on for a massive career. And that's ACDC.
Oh, it is, isn't it?
Because, ACDC, pretty much every album is standard ACDC. And they don't need to change. Sort of in theory, same with Slayer. I think is the only other one as well where Slayer have got to that point of squealy guitars, brutally fast songs about Satan and
Oh.
evil, and as long as one or two songs is good enough to go in the live set, no one cares.
Not that I'm a fan of this band per se, but another band definitely like that is Disturbed, where it's just like every song is exactly the same.
The first two albums are really good.
Yeah,
Stop listening after that.
yeah. You only need them. That's the thing. It's like Boston. You don't need all of them. Just grab a couple. It doesn't matter which ones. All the songs are the same.
And we are finishing this run with Less Than Supper. Again, this obviously coming off the I think it's a live album. Is the All Access album a live album? Because the two songs that you've picked off it are very much live tracks.
Yes, they are. They are. And interesting about this one, well, just off the conversation we were having, this song's on their very, very first record, which is a straight, legitimate bluegrass record. I mean, no bones about it. And this song was just a bluegrass song. And then a couple years go by, they get a little more comfortable with the sound they're trying to create. And this is essentially a remix of their own song in more of that Green Sky fashion. And this version is better for sure.
Yeah, it's clear. Yeah, as you say, they've taken where they were and obviously growing, and that's another sign of an awesome band if it's someone that can go. We have done this. This is where we were, but this song could now deal. We'll be doing this technique. We could use that in this song and make that one better. And yeah, fucking love it, and I think everyone else will as well. So we are having the Reverend Miss September and Less Than Super, or Less Than Supper even, and we will be back very shortly with a little bit more. So I hope you have enjoyed what we've had so far. We have next Worried About the Weather. You know, again, I know I'm going to sound like a broken record, but another fucking awesome song. This very much is. It reminds me of. I know they're a parody band, but obviously this is where I initially got into sort of the more of the bluegrassy sort of stuff. Was Hasty Dixie.
Oh,
Obviously because they cover metal songs in a bluegrass thing, and I was like, "Ooh, I like this style," and it was because of that I sort of looked into more of the bluegrassy sort of stuff.
yeah.
And this one, Worried About the Weather, and the next song are the two that had that very much that sort of we're a band that play other styles of music playing bluegrass more
Yeah.
than a bluegrass plan that may try to play other styles. You know, they sound like they could be a southern rock band, or you know, a R&B band, you know, but could also play bluegrass on these, especially on these two. And it's a really really nice sort of nice feeling you get from it, where you know these are really fucking good musicians working in a style that may actually be looked down upon because of it being seen as, you know, yokelish, you know, simplified sort of music for simple people.
Yeah.
Where they show such a dexterity in especially in these two songs that could, you know, be on any, as I said, any sort of southern rock album or sort of 60s 70s rhythm and blues album quite easily.
Yeah, man. Like, well, Gumboots is a cover of a Paul Simon song, so I think you hit the number on the head there. I slipped another cover there in there, but a very tough to play Paul Simon song that they turn into like a 7-minute dance jam. Yeah, not easy stuff at all. And then yeah, worried about the weather. It's interesting because they can just slip in and out of styles, and they can, you know, it's like when you see bands like almost like when you watch Springsteen or something where, oh, for this song this person's going to play lead and this person's going to sing and this, this bass line's going to be this, and these two people aren't going to do very much, but then in the next song it's going to be flipped, and then you'll have these guys doing this, and there's just such a wealth of talent where you can hear it as they go through these different songs about who's featured in what songs. And I, when you talk about the complexity of some of these songs, I can tell you as a bass player that these bass lines are deceptively difficult to get a handle of. The timing is weird. It's not, he mixes it around quite a lot. It's a lot of freeform stuff. The jams are, go from place to place without much warning. And so, yeah, I can attest that if it sounds simple, it just means that it's because they're playing it so well, not because it's easy.
Yeah, it's definitely, you know, one of these sort of things of, if you are a musician, listen to this and sort of appreciate it for how good they are in their chosen format.
Well, and then you see them live and they play them all faster. So that's the other thing to keep in mind.
Oh,
It's like the
if
Ramones.
only I'd get to see them, because I can't imagine they do much over here. The last song on this run is Old Barnes. Again, an awesome song. This may be what I just put as this, like, you know, I'll put Show and Tell Tunes 128 Eric Breed's Green Skill Bluegrass. It's awesome. I might just be all I do is the write up for this show, because it sounds like I'm a broken record, but it's like it is just these may be my new favorite thing. If they'd had an album out this year, it would have quite easily sneaked into the top 20 albums of the year, I think.
Oh, next year's will. Next year's will. Don't worry about it.
But as soon as something new comes out, I will be all over it.
Man, this is the one song that I was thinking about. I didn't realize it was next. Where you listen to it, and if you listen to the bass line especially, it seems super simple. And then you go and try to play it, and you're like, "What the hell? Like, what is he doing? Like, I don't understand what's going on." And so you can hear these notes being played, but it's in such a fucking non-Euclidean fashion that even something that sounds as simple and as low key as this is pretty difficult. So yeah, and this is just a beautiful song too. It's one of my favorites. Even out of these favorites, it's still one of my favorites.
And this is the one that's now the one that's been played more. This is the one that jumped ahead of Miss September.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, there's again, as I said, it's just really fucking awesome. So yeah, let's not wait any longer and give you Worried About the Weather, Gumboots, and Old Barnes, and we'll be back very shortly with a little bit more. So we are back, and it would be amiss of me to not mention the fact that at the day this will be being released, it is MLS Cup Day,
Yeah.
and our team,
FC PT FC PT. Let's
that's
do
right,
it, baby.
the Portland Timbers are 90 minutes away from champions of America. They won the Western Conference last week. Now for the big one, and beat Atlanta to be MLS champions. I will be wearing my Portland shirt at the Norwich game today as a sign of how much I'm, going for Portland in their last game of the season, which thankfully my good buddy Eric did send over to me, and I'm overly grateful for. I fucking love that shirt. It's a really, really nice shirt. And in other news about football, I sent you a City shirt, and since that, they've not lost.
Yes, and what a shirt it is. I've been impressing every single one of my very few friends in the United States who really follow international soccer at detailed levels. But the three or four that I've indicated to, they tell me that is just a very impressive thing to be in ownership of over here. So, yes, very much delighted to have it, and also very much delighted that our transcontinental exchange whipped up these favorable wins, and hopefully those wins will blow a couple goals for the Timbers coming up here just in a few minutes. And maybe by the time a lot of people listen to this, the Portland Timbers will have their second MLS Cup in just a few seasons. So yeah, a little bit of a dynasty brewing over here. Soccer Town, USA, baby, let's do it.
Yes, I shall be getting up at fuck. I think it's 4 o'clock in the morning. I think for it, and I'm just like, it's not nice, but it's going to be done.
Might as well stay up.
Well, I've got work that Sunday as well. I've got work tomorrow, so yeah.
Oh man,
I could just go inside. It is only a 6-hour shift.
I'll try not to spoil this one for you if you don't make it.
Either way, it'll be fine. So yes, there is that. Obviously, we will be very much loving the Timbers, and I am one of these that has teams in all American sports except baseball, because I've just not really got into baseball to the point of having a team. With the MLS, the reason I went with the Timbers, not only because of you being Eric, but the fact that their goal celebration was a guy with a chainsaw chopping up wood.
That's right. That's right.
That to me was enough to go, yeah, these guys get it.
Best best fan support in American soccer. Very much, and I say this having never been to a European soccer match, but what I'm told is Portland Timbers home games are the closest thing in the U.S. to what a legitimate, big time European or Spanish soccer match feels like. So I'm proud to be a part of that from time to time.
I was gonna say, from what I've seen on the TV, it reminds me very much of the German, the Bundesliga and Serie A in Italy with the flag displays and the big banners and stuff.
Yeah.
Because that's their sort of more of their sort of thing, but it very much has the English culture of the songs.
Well, and it makes sense, as Americans, we just tend to borrow from every other culture and put it all together and call it our own. So, it does make, we do just kind of pick and choose, but it's pretty sweet, dude.
But yeah, I'm happy that I finally did it and got myself a shirt, and I'm, as I said, eternally grateful for you doing that. But I will say, when the champion stuff comes up, I might need you to get me a champion shirt, as because what will happen is when Norwich win the league in May,
there you go. All
and
right.
we're getting promoted back to the Premiership. You could be ahead of the curve when everyone else is going, "Ooh, you like the new team in the Premiership?" You can go, "No, I was there when they were still in the Championship."
That's right. That's right. I've been with them for longer than you. Don't ask me how much longer.
But yeah, it's one of those of obviously mutual things of wrestling and stuff like that that's got us to this point, and we're like, we both like the same teams. We'll go with that and go from there. Yeah, go Timbers for the MLS Cup final. Obviously, it is that time of the year. Are you all ready for Festivus and looking forward to the Christmas break after only recently having a time off for Turkey Day and Thanksgiving?
Man, I don't know. I'm really busy at the holiday time because we always go on vacation the week before Christmas, and so for me, it's like I just work a ton before we leave, and so when we get on vacation, it's great. But the next, when this podcast drops, I will be in the middle of my annual scramble to make sure I can get out the door without having any upset clients in the week I'm gone. So after that, it'll be great, and I'll be sipping a drink with my toes in the sand in Mexico when it's 24 degrees and ice and sleet here in Portland the week before Christmas. So yeah, mixed bag.
Yeah, you get the joy of Mexico. I have whatever awful weather we'll get for Christmas and trying to go into the city centre and do some shopping in chaos.
Bless you, sir. Oh, I remember. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I've heard your horror stories before. It sounds really unpleasant.
Yeah, it's not nice, but it has to be done.
Oh yeah, for
Though,
sure.
though, because Bells, as a paramedic, obviously has to work the holiday period. She is doing the night shift on Christmas Eve, so she doesn't get in until silly o'clock Christmas morning. We have this year decided we're going to the pub for Christmas dinner because none of us want to cook or wash up, especially if she's only going to have had a few hours sleep. So at least we don't have to do the washing up after Christmas.
Oh, I fully support that decision. Anytime you can avoid that stress, absolutely. Go have a
So,
couple pints. Yeah, say hi to Santa Claus. He'll be there.
well, the missus will be able to track him all night as she's out saving lives.
That's right. That's right.
So we are about to close the show with the last few songs, but before we do that, do you have anything that you would like to pimp or share or force people to enjoy?
No, I'm pretty much happy to be here. I guess if you enjoy me and Chris talking about things good, bad, and different, check out the Wrestling 20 Years Ago podcast, which I'm sure you've heard about on this show from time to time. Chris and I have occasion to talk about uh, 90s wrestling from 20 years ago, and there's a bunch of other folks on there too. And we're coming up on a really fun time of year where we have a lot of specials dropping and end of year reviews, and those are always the best shows. I look forward to them the most. I think everybody does. So yeah, if you're into wrestling or just a bunch of guys sitting around making fun of old stuff and giving their opinions about things. Check it out. Otherwise, I'm on Twitter at Modern Day Lawyer. You know, give me a follow. Whatever, doesn't matter. Just happy to come here and share this this cool music with you guys.
And of course, you'll be back in the new year with more fun and games and more fun music, because you have to. It's the law. I'm going to get you on like a bi-monthly rotation where you have to come on at least every couple of months.
Yeah, I need enough time to find a playlist. So yeah, we'll do that. But I have high standards now.
You do, because you've brought nothing but wonder in your free playlist so far. That bar is high.
I'm hoping to leap over it.
So we are ending today's show with more awesomeness, as you can tell with how we've loved everything else so far on this show. First up is No More Fun. Again, awesome, amazing bluegrass song. Yeah, it is. It's just another really fucking good song.
Yeah, super sad, but super good.
Yeah, it is definitely an old time heartbreak song, but that's one of the main story arcs, as I'd call it, of any good southern style of song. Whether it be country and western, whether it be like southern rock, or even sort of soul and gospel. The heartbreak song always has the biggest lasting memory, and this is no different to that.
Yeah, I love this song. I love this song. And the next one is my favorite. So we're ending on the best one as I see it.
So we're going out with all four, and as you've said, this is your favorite. I will leave the floor to yourself.
Kind of they have a lot of songs that are jammy, and this is I didn't want to have a 75-minute playlist for 10 songs, and so but if you're into the jam band stuff, musicianship, just kind of longer songs, I guess would be the way to put it. They have a lot of stuff like this, and again, when I sit down to play their songs, this is one of the most fun ones because it's not it's not one of the more complicated ones. It's not one where I have to really sit down and scratch my head, but it does keep you on your toes, and it is 12 minutes long, and it's hard to play for 12 minutes straight sometimes. So yeah, this one's my favorite. I just love the song, and I love playing it, and I think more than any of them, this is the one I play the most. So I think that's probably why I gravitate towards it.
It's definitely one of those of, with a lot of long songs, there'll be that point in it where either it starts to feel long, or it loses the intensity a little bit, or it sort of has a dull moment. It wasn't until I looked at at the actual runtime, I went, "Oh fuck, this is still like one song, and it's 12 minutes long." It flies by in a way that a 12-minute jam song normally shouldn't.
Yeah, it's not indulgent,
And at no point does it drop out or lose intensity, or even sort of just meander off into self-wankery for the sake of self-wankery.
Right.
It's all very concise. It's all very sort of every part of it feels like it's needed. No bit is there just for the sake of it being there. And as I say, the highest compliment I give it is that it doesn't feel like a 12-minute song.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%.
So that is what we will be finishing with today. So that was No More Fun and all four. As I said, Green Sky Bluegrass, get on Spotify, get it saved as your favorites. Just listen to all of it. It is fucking awesome. And definitely going to be in my rotation from here on out. Once again, thank you very much, Eric, for joining us. It is always a pleasure. Thank you for introducing me to Green Sky Bluegrass and the wider audience to it too. for those who haven't heard before. I can't be the only one that's never heard of it. And hopefully everyone is now a fan of it. And until next time, we have Jiggy and Tyler from Asia Mania on the next 2 episodes running up to Christmas. Rory is in for the Christmas special. Might chuck out another one between the Christmas special and the albums of the year. Albums of the year will be out on New Year's Day, New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, part 1 and part 2. And going into next year, more guest host shows and much more of the same. So until next time, goodbye.